What's up, guys? I'm sWs, Shootin with Shane. Welcome to part 2 of episode 3 of Shootin with Shane. My guest needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him the best one I possibly can, guys. With me, legendary superfan Marcus Fine himself. This man goes to more professional wrestling matches than I've ever known. Brother, what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good,
Man? All right, here we are. We are on location yet again. What better way to do part 2 than go ahead and go and hit the location. Guys, we're in Kokomo, Indiana. As you guys can hear, the boys are in the back. Things are going. It's going to be a wild night. Again, we're in Kokomo, Indiana at the Connection, okay, on Markland. Pre-sale tickets are still available. You guys can get those. Brother, hell of a card. This card reminds me of a WCW Starrcade or maybe a WCW Bash at the Beach with this beautiful weather. How are you feeling about the card tonight?
From what I know of the card is fantastic. I do know we lost Johnny Slade. I don't know if you heard that.
I did, yeah. So I did speak to Johnny. Unfortunately, car incident, yep.
But doesn't mean he still can't come out.
This is true.
So
now, I will say, since you did bring the match up, I was definitely looking forward to that match. That match was actually made official on about 3 weeks ago on SWS Live. That match was made official by the world's champion, Justin Terrell, who will be honestly be in action tonight, taking on Christian Cash. Now, I want to get your opinion on this because from what I've seen the year Christian has, after all the trials and tribulations that this man's had to go through, I still don't think Christian can win the big one. I think Christian's going to choke, and I'm not the only one that thinks that.
All right.
What's your thoughts on Christian and Justin tonight?
This match actually was supposed to take place back in November. And of course, that match didn't happen because of issues. I don't think Christian is ready now. I feel Christian was ready in November. I think in November, yes, Christian could have done it. But I think the ring rust may have set in.
I think so too.
6 months later.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a 6-month layoff. Justin Terrell is the world champion for a reason. I have been making a comment saying, like I said, I think Christian's going to choke. I think Christian has let Justin Terrell, the world champion, get in his head too much. I think the number that Christian's going to try to dial tonight against the champion, Justin's done changed that number. Like that's dead in the water.
I love Christian Cash to death, but I think he lost his momentum.
Okay.
Because when he hit November, the momentum was there. Then all of a sudden, it wasn't. Now he's had 6 months, and like you're right, that gives 6 months to Justin Terrell getting in there.
Absolutely. And from what I've seen and heard, Terrell has done exactly what Terrell does as the world champion. Yes. He gets inside your head and he makes you really think, am I good enough to beat this man? And again, I just don't think Christian has it. Again, man, I was really looking forward to the SWS. SWS. I was looking forward to Johnny Slade, accepting the Mikey King challenge, on SWS. It was a match that I was definitely looking forward to. Like you said, unfortunately, folks, we don't get that tonight. So I got to ask, Mikey King, the ladies' man, Golden Prophecy.
Is he here tonight? Is Mike still coming?
I do believe Mike is still going to be here tonight. I haven't heard anything yet. So
Mike's ready for anybody.
And that's what I was going to say.
Seriously,
he's not a guy that is going to back down from a fight. You know what I mean? Like,
you might get a surprising, but
pre-show match tonight, man. We got a nice little treat. I'm not quite a fan of him at this time in my position in life right now. But my son, my oldest son, Tanner Kelly, he's going to be taking on the big bearded bastard in the pre-show. So thoughts on that, man? Me personally, I want to see the big bearded bastard beat the holy living hell out of him.
But
Teach this kid a lesson.
Has he ever wrestled? I've never seen the
first match. First official match tonight.
I give it to Terrell. Because Bearded Bastard hasn't done anything yet.
Yeah?
Terrell has. Not Terrell.
Or Tanner?
Tanner. Sorry.
Yeah,
you get on my T's and get me on.
I mean, the guy's obviously talented. After all, he does hang. He used to hang out with me. But he didn't want that place at the table no more, and I don't know what happened with him and I. We don't talk. We don't. Obviously it's no secret. We ran him over in AWE. I hired Justin Danger as a backup plan in case my boy Ricky Guns couldn't get the job done.
Right.
And the job got done. And Tanner Kelly, he didn't get the W like he wanted to.
No.
But tonight I gotta go with Big Bearded Bastard.
No, we're disputing that one.
I'm gonna whisper in that big man's ear and be like, look, you do it for me, you're gonna get a good payday. You know what I mean? Like, do it for me. Like I said, man, hell of a card tonight. Again, Starrcade quality. Now, what I love about ACW most, the comeback shows.
Right.
It's always the best show of the year for AACW for me personally. How do you feel about? Because it's been a long layoff, so tonight is the first, first night back. How's it feel to be back in the AACW arena, ready to go, man?
I mean, you see me walk in, they were all right there, shaking my hand. We are all ready for this.
Yeah, this is going to be a night.
This is 6 months is too long to go between shows.
And hell, man, and I actually want to announce this too for you guys who don't know. Marcus Fine is now officially a member of the Gonzo Sports Room / Gonzo's Wrestling Room. You guys can check them out on Facebook. Hit that search bar, Gonzo's Sports Room. You guys can check them out. And also on YouTube, hit that subscribe button for those guys. Great content, man. How's it been working with those guys? I know you, Chris, and Tony are really tight.
Yes.
And I love now, I used to love to watch the episodes, don't get me wrong. But now that they've added you in, your knowledge, man. I mean, you go back to such old school professional wrestling. To see the three of you guys, the way you guys work. What's that been like, man, working with the Gonzos?
I love it. For the fact that a lot of the people we've been interviewing here as of late, I know most of their careers, so I know more questions to ask because I'm familiar with more people. And that, I think that really helps. I'm not tooting my own horn, but that's one of the reasons they brought me in, because you know these people. You've seen these people. We asked the guy the other day that had broke his jaw in the ring. I knew that. They did not. So I could ask that. Tell us the story.
It's kind of like filling those little gaps that where are, you know what I mean? Like those cracks are now being filled in because, like you said, man, I mean, you have, like I said as well, you have so much knowledge. You and your wife, Miss Kelly Fine, like I mentioned at the beginning of this, you guys hit a record-breaking. I know we talked about this on the last episode with you with part one, but we never really got a chance to really talk about it, so I want to bring it back up. You guys set a record-breaking number of shows that you guys went through last year. What was the exact number that you guys
69.
made? 69 shows.
4 states.
See, what's that like, man? To be able to sit there and ride with your wife and go to these shows and meet all these different guys. I mean, this is why you're a legend in this business. Like,
we love it because we're to that point now, and I was talking to another friend of mine last night. We have now got the pick. We're in demand now. We hit our 3rd Kentucky promotion. Well, actually, it was our 4th, but one of them has folded since then, last Saturday. And now I'm in with another promotion in Kentucky. And, of course, they're already inviting us down. Jeffersonville runs shows 2-3 times a week. And these people, hey, can you come down? Well, I got other shows. Because we're in the hotbed now. Spring's here. All these shows, like AACW starting back up. And we got to pick and choose, and we have royalties to shows, and if we can fit you in, we'll fit you in.
I was going to say, you guys are pretty loyal to certain brands, and AACW is one of them.
Well, Shane's the longest. I've known Shane, next to Joey Owens, I've known Shane longer than any promoter in the state. I've known him longer than Jason Maples and Joey Owens both.
And Jason Maples is another name I wanted to bring up too, because I know I just did the last episode of SWO Shootin' Shane. Justin Danger was the guest. Had a great episode with that. Jason Maples is a name in professional wrestling that you hear a lot, and me personally, your name is going to be synonymous with those types of names if it's not already that. Jason Maples has ran things for so many years, man. I mean, when I first met Jason, I was like I want to say Damien DeVille and I met him like he was 11, 12 years old.
And you guys used to go to those concerts?
We used to go to the concerts.
We've crossed paths before.
And I was going to say,
We have had to.
Yeah, because I was at every EWF. I remember going down to the Magic Bus. Now, a lot of people remember the Magic Bus building he had down on North Washington there in Marion. He had that for a couple years. That's where DeVille and I would go down and we'd wrestle in the ring and, play around or whatever. Then they went to the Raintree Plaza, which was really cool for me because that was literally, I could jump on my skateboard and be there in 10 minutes.
That's where we got our start.
And that was such a great time. I mean, I love the brick entrance ways. I love the theater aspect of it. You had the rock and roll shows the night before on the left-hand side, and you had the wrestling, things like that. What was your experience like, man, with EWF? Because obviously, like you said, we've known that now for a long time.
We met so many stars. We were trying to ramble them off. Blue Meanie, Jake the Snake, Honky Tonk Man, Hacksaw. I mean, we were rambling them off. How many people has been Coco Beware that are Hall of Famers now, too?
Absolutely.
That have been through either Raintree or that one over there across from the factory down by the
on North Washington.
Yeah.
Yep. The little gray building, man. Like, that was the last hurrah for the EWF.
We had that vibe, too. You walk in there, it reminded you of old school. I talked to Jason Maples, about a week before that show, the first show they had up there. He says, "Do you remember the first Rocky movie?" Of course I do, because that's how I got my start. Where he's fighting at the very beginning. That's what the building reminds me of. And if you put that picture of Jesus sparing that rafter, you would have it.
Yeah, and that's a really good visualization of that building, because I remember when Jason moved it from Raintree, and I was in a band at the time, and he that ring always stayed set up in there.
Yeah.
And he had invited myself and my bandmates, the band I was playing at the time, Please, and a few of our buddy bands come in and play on this Friday night, the night before the wrestling show. And I remember getting in that ring, and that was the first time I'd stepped in that ring since they moved it from the Raintree Plaza. And I just remember seeing that entranceway, and like it was surreal to know that it had moved to that building, but you still had that same vibe, that same presence, man. Because I remember walking through the curtain, through the brick entryway, like I was telling Danger, and then seeing that locker room and stuff like that, and it was just like, that building, I mean, that was the end, basically. I mean, they wrote that out, and then like Danger and I were saying, you know, you walk into a show one day, and they're like, hey, we're tearing this place to the ground, basically, you know.
And Raintree's gone now, too.
Raintree, you know, and it's crazy, too, because, you know, it's like everything that I've known from my childhood is gone. It's like when they tore down Raintree, I was like, wow, man. I mean, I remember Little Caesars being in there, and you know,
at Raintree, we used to eat at that Chinese restaurant at the end of the building, or Chi-Chi's, which used to be right there in front, and we'd go over to the Raintree.
Yep. And then Little Caesars Pizza was right there in that plaza and everything. Yep. And then now it's like I don't even know what I don't know what the building is.
We haven't been the bank forever.
Something, so. I guess something to do with banks or something. But yeah, man, I want to go back to Gonzo and Chris and Tony. Man, I know I've already asked what's it like working with them, but is this something that you wanted to do as far as, because they have a you know, award-winning podcast, you know, I mean, it's great guests all the time.
No,
was
I never thought I'd ever do it.
Was it something you just didn't want to do?
No, I would say
like,
it's something I never thought about doing.
Okay.
We'll go that route. We went to an AACW show, and Jordan Bell, he said, you need to talk to that guy right there. So I didn't even know Jordan Bell, but he knew me. See, that's what's weird too, is that people know who I am and know my reputation. So then we seen Chris and Tony in another show one time. He says, they gave me a shirt. He says, you want to come on the show? I was like, ooh, let me think about it. Because I never, you know, let me think about it. And then another AACW show, Goodwill, we talked about that on the way in here. There's a Goodwill, Jordan Bell comes up and says, have you gone on with the Gonzos yet? It's like, no, I'm still thinking about it. He says, well, I want you to come on my show too. It's like, I need to go with them first. So that night was at the Carver Center, but in that the other side of the gym. I said, I need to talk to you
on the
guys.
small side, right? Yeah.
I said, I need to talk to you guys. And Chris and Tony sit down and says, you still want to do the interview? He says, let's get it done, because Jordan Bell wants me to do his too. So I need to do yours first, and then it just...
Yeah. And then it's weird too, because like we kind of shared like that similar background of that story, because it was like, I was doing the SWS podcast. I retired from music. I started doing the podcast, Shootin with Shane. It was something I always wanted to do, because I used to wrestle. Done with all that now. That was my younger days. Days gone by. Body can't quite hold up and stuff like that, unfortunately, anymore. But I wanted to do the podcast thing, and I was like, I want to do it with wrestling, because that's what I love. And I walk in, and my first time into AACW, Damon DeVille invited me, and I was going to be in Kokomo that night anyway. So I was like, man, all right, I'll go from the in-laws. I'll go over here and I'll watch my buddy wrestle. And funny part of the story is, when I first walked in the building, I actually walked in the wrong door, and I walked into the locker room.
Yeah, I've got that a few times.
And those guys were just so cool about it. I seen DeVille, I walked over, gave him a hug, hit the too sweet. I was like, love you, brother, whatever. All these guys, Brody Botkins, Justin Terrell, Shane Kauser, all these guys started coming over. They're like, hey man, what's up? And I didn't realize that some of them had seen the first few episodes of the show. So I'm sitting out there in the crowd. Like I said, I love pro wrestling. Next thing I know, I got Shane Kauser. Realized that we got 2/3 the same name. And he was like, hey, I'll do your show if you do mine. And I was like, absolutely.
Yeah,
he's like, man, you need to come in and do something with this company. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. What's up, gentlemen? I got my nephews coming on. All right, what's up, guys? How you guys doing? This is my nephew Tristan, or I'm sorry, Forrest. Sorry. And this is my nephew Channing.
I'm youngest. He's older.
I know who's who. All right, sorry guys, but man, and again, that's what I love about AACW, man. It's family stuff like that, you know what I mean? And SWS is raw, you know what I mean? I don't have no script, but okay. So we're talking about how It was something that you didn't know if you wanted to do or whatever.
Right.
But man, are you having a blast with
Oh,
it?
you're not kidding.
You guys have had some banger of episodes
Me
too.
and Tony will get to talk, because Christian sits there, because me and Tony, we grew up in the same area. Anybody we interview now, me and Tony kind of have to laugh. They go, when did you get your start? Oh, I remember seeing WrestleMania, and they give you a double-digit number. Well, WrestleMania 1 was my senior year, or my junior year in high school. The War to Settle the Score, which, if you're familiar with that, was an MTV thing that's set up for WrestleMania 1. And Hogan and Piper on MTV, one of my buddies had taped that, and he brought it to school. Well, it got around that I had it. We watched the War to Settle the Score in my chemistry class in my junior year in high school. He wheeled in the VCR, and we watched it.
See, and that's really cool, man, that you guys have to watch it that way, you know.
But our teacher wanted to see that too. It's like,
And that's really cool, man, that your teacher was a fan of it too, where he's like, this is what we're gonna do, you know? Man, what was your, okay, like, I know this is gonna be a generic question, but I always try to throw out at least 3 or 4 generic questions, you know what I mean? Guests usually know what's coming. But man, and I love Danger's answer when I asked him this. He said it depends on the mood, but if you had to put together a Mount Rushmore, where would you go with it?
We brought that up just the other day for an interview we did with Scott Hewlett, who does the Heated Shenanigans podcast. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's a guy I've known for a while now. And they asked me, I go, man, that's hard to come by. But then I came up with one. Now, are we talking independent? Independent?
Let's talk pro.
Okay, my pro was the
We'll
World
go
Warriors.
independent in a minute. Let's do
All
pro
right.
first.
World Warriors on face 1.
Okay.
I've always been a World Warriors fan.
So both on face 1,
Right.
going Hawk and Animal.
Flair, Hogan, Undertaker.
Flair, Hogan,
That's my 4.
That's your 4. Okay, that's a pretty good. That's actually a pretty fire Survivor Series team too. You know what I mean? All right, so independent. Who you got?
Okay, now this goes back.
Okay.
They said I couldn't use Dick the Bruiser because he was more territorial. So
Okay.
we'll throw Dick the Bruiser. So it'll be Bobo Brazil Jr. Because
Oh, Bobo Brazil. Okay.
Junior.
Junior. Okay. Junior.
Calypso
Okay.
Jim, because he was in the very first live match I ever seen. And
Okay.
he still works. I mean, he has a show tonight down in Salem, or Indianapolis. Well, anyway, he's running tonight, still working 40 years later. Dice Man Ronnie Vegas.
Okay.
The minute I seen Dice Man Ronnie Vegas, he had that charisma, that Hitchcomb leader. You familiar with him?
No, I have not heard that
Okay.
name.
And Dangerous Bulldog Bash.
Okay. Okay. So that'd be your independent. That's a pretty good fire independent too. Now I have to ask though, to go back to the pro one really quick. Why Hawk and Animal? Like, could you not just put one?
Because I've met the Road Warriors. I fell in love the first time I seen the Road
If
Warriors.
you had a favorite, who would you? Hawk or Animal? I mean, Hawk, God rest his soul.
Animal, well, both of them.
Well, both now, yeah.
Animal had a vicious power slam like no other. It was a work.
But
of
Hawk's
art.
voice, I mean, he made you like, I mean, when Animal would come in and be like, tell him, Hawk, I mean, well, like that became an iconic thing. Now, speaking of tag teams, let's stay on a little topic of tag team really quick. I'm a huge fan of tag team wrestling. I love it, man. My 2 favorite tag teams, it's hard for me to choose, so I'll say my 2 favorite tag teams are tied at number 1. That's the Outsiders, Hall and Nash, and that's the Hollywood Blondes, Austin and Pillman. 2 guys, or 2 teams who were actually singles, individuals put in a tag team, made it work. Great look from both of them. But in my 2 spot, I would have to say the big boys themselves in Natural Disasters. Earthquake.
Wow.
I loved the Natural Disasters as a kid. They were my favorite Hasbro action figures to play with just because they were bigger.
Right.
And I like to be able to play with those guys, man, as action figures. Like, I always played them on the game. So I'm going to throw out a couple tag names. We'll go Natural Disasters. On a scale of 1 to 5, place them where you want, starting however you want to put them in there.
Natural Disasters.
Natural Disasters, Earthquake,
Well, I don't know
Typhoon.
who else I got to pick from, so let's start them at 5.
Start them at 5 and then we'll shuffle them around.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. So let's go ahead and go, we'll go a little old school again. We'll go Demolition, Axe Smash, and Crush.
No, don't put Crush in there.
You don't want Crush in there? I'm going to go ahead and keep Crush in there.
The only reason they put Crush in there is because Axe got hurt.
Yeah.
So we'll just-
Repo Man.
and he was also one of the Russians with Ivan Koloff.
Smash, yeah. Okay, so we'll go ahead and say Axe and Smash for you.
Okay, well, is that the only 2 I'm working with right now?
Okay, we'll just say those 2 for right now.
I'll put Demolition a bit. Well, I don't know. Because didn't the Natural Disasters pin Demolition? Didn't
Yeah. They had a good few too, though.
they? Oh, man. We'll keep them at 4. We'll leave the Natural Disasters and Demolition. They could swap here in a minute.
Okay. Let's go ahead and let's go a little old school again. Let's keep it a little old school. Let's go the Hart Foundation. Jim Animal Neidhart and Bret
You're not
Hitman
even
Hart.
picked any of mine yet. Put them at 1 for now.
One for now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll throw you a wild card, man. 2 Maniacs, in my opinion. Not really necessarily a tag team. They had a decent little thing they did just for fun. We'll say the Mega Maniacs, man. Or, I'm sorry, the Ultimate Maniacs. Warrior and Savage.
Hey, you know what's weird about that is I actually totally forgot those two never teamed up until after Warrior passed away and his DVD set came out. So put them at the bottom because I literally
Put them at the bottom? Okay, so didn't even think about them. No. All right, let's go the British Bulldogs.
They were very good, but very stiff.
Okay.
Very stiff. I heard people didn't like to work them because they were stiff. And same with the Steiners. I heard the Steiners were real stiff too.
Now, I've heard stories of Scott, man. If you messed up in that ring with Scott, Scott will let you know that you messed up.
When you hear these stories, you always want to think, okay, so you know the Bulldogs are stiff because Mick Foley said that. And you know the Steiners are stiff because Mick Foley said that. Bulldogs and Steiners, I would have loved to have seen in their prime those 4 go at it.
Okay. Let's shift gears here for a second. Let's talk about championships. All-time favorite championship title. What's the most beautiful championship in your opinion? Yes. That when you see it, you're like, that's the one.
Hogan's, not the one he won off the sheet, but the one that actually debuted in Indianapolis, which I did not realize it had.
The classic Winged Eagle. Yeah.
No, the one before that.
Oh, it had.
You're right. The Winged Eagle.
The Winged Eagle. Yeah.
The one prior to that, and
it had that weird kind of shape to it a little bit. Yeah.
I love that.
Okay. So you're gonna go with the Winged Eagle then? Yeah.
No,
or the one before. You're going with the one before. Okay. My favorite championship will always be the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you're going the secondaries, yes.
I thought, like, in some scenarios of some matches for the guys that I was into at the time, that championship almost meant more to me as a kid than the World Championship.
A lot of people said the Intercontinental title was more prestigious because that was the step to Hogan.
Yeah.
You had to go through whoever that.
And great Intercontinental champions in history.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, tremendous names. Shawn Michaels, Jeff Hardy,
Savage,
Steamboat,
Pedro Morales, Don Morocco, even Pat Patterson in his day.
I was gonna say, he was the first. You know what I mean? And that's legendary for him because he's always gonna have that attached to his name.
And Ken Patera was number 2, and I think Pedro won it. And I have to go through it, but because Don Morocco was the Intercontinental champion when Snicker came off the cage.
What did you guys think, or what did you and your buddies, when you guys get together, like, what did you guys think about Briscoe and Patterson's last little run that they had as far as like the corporation stuff as the Stooges?
Well, see, I was well into my adult years, but I did have people I worked with.
I mean, because they were thrown in there with some big names, Undertaker, Michaels,
Bret. Kind of degraded them. I thought those are 2 former world champions because they both held the NWA title. And when you get to that point, you start putting them in slapstick comedy. It kind of degrades them. That's the way I feel.
You think so? Yeah. See, like I'll definitely agree that it degraded them, but I think for the factor that they were doing it with bigger names involved. Like I said, Taker, Bear was in on some of that stuff with the corporate ministry and things like that. And then you had guys like Bret, who was in that feud, Austin, who was in that feud, DX, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, things like that. And I mean, if you want to shake his hand, it still doesn't change how I feel about you, but
you can make yourself show.
You want to come in and say hi? Is that what you want to do? You want to come and say hi?
Come on, buddy, get back here. If you're wearing a Gonzo shirt, we'll let you.
Yeah. You want to come say hello? Thief. He's a thief. That's what he is. He's a damn thief.
Well, that would be a threat over here.
I know, right? Yeah.
All right, so I just want to take this time out to say that Marcus Fine is one of the greatest fans of all time. Other fans that should be no name, you know what I'm saying? Sitting next to him with dreads sucks. His glasses are great, but he sucks because he just changes on you. Don't let him get behind you. He'll be like, oh, I think he's one of the greatest of all time. And you know what he's going to say after that? Oh, he can't get the job done.
You can't.
Oh, he can't get the job done. And then, you know what I'm saying? It's like me coming out here and week after week busting my butt and him going out and hanging out on the Today Show and then thinking, you know what I'm saying? Oh, wow, he can't wrestle. But he hasn't even been here. He hasn't put the work in. But he has his business talking about my business.
It's not my fault you can't get the job done, man.
Wow.
You know,
it's not my
you know,
fault
a lot
that
of
you look
people,
like a fake Jack
you
Sparrow.
know, and it's
but
so
you
crazy,
do it.
and it's
but
so
you do
crazy
it.
that it's so crazy
do
that
it.
people, and it's so crazy that you do it too.
But you-
the fact that a lot of people say that I changed after I got kicked in the head.
Oh.
But I think when I kicked you in the head, I think it changed you. I think you lost your heart, Christian. I think you realized in that moment that the guy that has always made you second best to him. Justin Terrell saved you that night, because had he not pulled me out of that ring, I was going down for 3.
Yeah.
And if I ever
I
get
just,
a chance,
I just really want to ask you a question. What did you do after that?
I'm sWs. I do everything.
Oh, so you rang the bell. So a referee that has the power to give his
I did my job.
to give his
I did my
brother
job.
the win.
I did my
to give
job.
his brother the win. You decided to give me the win because you don't believe in Damian DeVille? Or you don't believe in yourself?
I had to ring the bell.
You
If
had to
not,
ring the bell.
there's consequences for DeVille.
Oh. So when I
I'm done talking about this.
When I rock
I'm done
bottom
talking about
DeVille,
this. I'm trying to do my job
I hit him with the rock
interview
bottom, and I hit
somebody
him
who
with,
actually
okay.
matters.
So when I had him down dead to rights, you decided, oh, this is my chance to kick Christian because he's going to beat my brother otherwise.
Every
And you know,
pinfall
it's okay,
every
it's
pinfall
okay.
that I counted for you, I counted 1, 2, and then he just was better and kicked out. I can't help
So
it.
we're going to ignore the fact
I
that you
can't-
slow counted. We're going to ignore the fact that you slow counted. It's
I'm just
okay.
doing my job.
Hey, Shane, you know what? You can go where you were created.
All right.
In the
well,
pits of hell.
Ladies and
All
gentlemen,
right.
there he goes, walking off into the distance. Bye now. Back to. Sorry about that. Like I said, man, sWs, raw and uncut. This is what we do, guys. We're live here in Kokomo, Indiana tonight. It's going to be a hell of a
He said
show.
anything can happen, and it will.
And hey, yeah, absolutely. Like, anything can happen on sWs, man. We'll start winding this down here shortly, but I want to go back to the card tonight, man. Out of the matches that we've discussed, which one are you looking forward to the most? Because it's a wild ride tonight.
Yeah. I guess we'll go with Christian and Terrell.
Christian
I was
Terrell,
really
okay.
looking for Swade and my King, but of course, shit happens. So.
Yeah. Huge triple threat tag team match announced
yes.
tonight. I'm still not happy when I got the news that obviously we're stripped of the tag team championships. That's okay. I'll address that later. But man, you've got the Dirty Birds. You got Dalton Love and Luke Savage, Savage Love, and then you got my boy Zay Gates
Eric.
and Eric, and then M2P. Where are you going?
It's hard to tell you.
I
where
can't
I'm
give you
going.
my opinion because I want to, but I'm sorry, but I gotta go. I gotta go. My boy Zay.
Zay,
Making
Zay
his-
has the power,
make-
because
ma-
Zay
making
is
their
a
debut tonight.
Zay is a top talent in the state right now.
Boy's on fire.
Dalton Love.
On fire.
Am I allowed to bring other promotions
Yeah, of
up?
course. Yeah. Hey,
WCWO
man.
heavyweight champion right now, Dalton Love. They also hold tag team titles in Michigan, and that's a tag team on fire. M2P's on fire. The Dirty Birds are fan favorites in Kokomo.
Oh, absolutely.
So who knows where that's going? I've seen Zay and Dalton, Zay and Luke. I've never seen the Dirty Birds wrestle these guys. This will be a challenge for the Dirty Birds.
Absolutely.
It'll be interesting to see where this goes. I cannot predict this one right now. So I see how things work.
I definitely gotta stick with what I said. I gotta stick with my boys Zay and Eric, and
Okay, and then if you're going to do that, then I'm going with Savage Love because I
going Savage Love with it. Yeah. Again, like you said, man, two guys, two talented gentlemen. This will actually be their AACW debut as well. See, and it's weird because the Dirty Birds, man, you know, AACW is Dirty Bird territory. You know, the flock is what they call their fans. You know, those guys are wild. If you guys have never experienced that, it is a rumble in the arena when the birds come out. I'll give them that.
they bring their own fame to it.
But man, they are in for a fight tonight.
And I'll tell you why I go with what I go. Zay is wrestling everywhere. Eric Onyx hasn't been anywhere for a while. The Dirty Birds, they haven't been anywhere for a while. But Luke and Dalton wrestle
working
everywhere, every weekend,
weekly.
somewhere.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I have to go with them.
I'll always putting the work in. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, definitely gotta. So you're going Savage Love. I'm going MVP. Man, and see the thing of it is, like, when I look at it, I think Again, like I said, anybody can shake hands on SWS. It's all right, folks. That's what we're here for. Man, I'm so glad you're so cool with all that. Look, I messed up.
Standing over there waiting.
He has been waiting
Yes,
and
sir.
just
How are you?
waiting and waiting.
Well, thank you. Very well. Brother, how's it going? Good, you? Doing good.
I guess we'll just line. Hey, you want to come shake Marcus's hand?
Come here, Ricky. Get over here. He opened it up. We'll do it.
Know who I am?
I know who you are.
Doing all right.
You want to tell the people who you are? Hey, here's what we're gonna do. Let's finally get a face to the name.
To go with those comments that are
Let's see
every
here.
week on.
Go ahead.
Hi guys, my name is Zane West, and I am going to punch somebody in the face tonight.
Now you guys know what he looks like. Put him on a t-shirt. Remind him what he looks like, so that way he knows who he is. That's Zane West, ladies and
He'll
gentlemen.
be one of them. Oh yeah.
I already know who I am.
All right, brother. It's been a blast. We'll wind this one down. Are we gonna do a part 3?
Yeah, we need to do a part 3
at a future event.
But
I think we need
can't
to do
tell
it.
you where because, like I said, the summer's weird.
Same, man.
And maybe we'll just do the next one here.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do May 27th. We're gonna be coming back.
Let me give it to her.
Okay.
Pardon me.
All right.
Keep talking.
May 27th is
Check
going to be the
calendar.
next time here in Kokomo. I would love to bring you back on for the part 3, and because I love the vibe and I love the energy. Like I said, guys, you guys can hear the boys in the back. You can hear the fans will be piling in here shortly.
She's got us on the calendar.
So we're good. All right. So May 27th here at Kokomo, Indiana. After Connection again, we're going to film part 3, and man, it's going to be a blast. This one's been a blast, man. It's crazy, guys. Like I said, anything can happen on SWS. I'm going to give the floor to Marcus. Marcus, any shout-outs, any comments you want to make about anything and everything?
Right.
The mic is yours, brother. Have at it.
Chris, Tony. I'll introduce my people.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
There's actually 4 of us now. Holden is not here. Holden is at Comic-Con in Muncie.
All right, guys, we're going to actually bring on Marcus's buddies who, again, we mentioned the 3 of them doing Gonzo Sports Room. You can find them on Facebook at that search bar, Gonzo Sports Room. Guys, we got Tony Gonzalez right here.
Yep. Chris Gonzalez over here.
We got Chris coming here. Again, you guys can check these guys out on Facebook. You can check them out on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button.
Every Monday
follow
at
them on
6:30.
Facebook, man.
Every Monday at 6:30 on YouTube, Gonzo Sports Room. What are we talking about this week? Major storylines and major wrestling personalities.
Right on.
Mine's behind the wrestling. Yep. Yeah.
All right, cool. So like I said, man, check out Gonzo Sports Room. You can check them out on YouTube and Facebook. You'll see Chris, Tony, and Superfan himself, Marcus Fine. Brother, thank you so much for coming
I got
on.
one more.
Yep, absolutely. Go for it.
All right, I am also a member of the Diamond Dan Pro Wrestling Hotline. Diamond Dan used to wrestle with Dick the Bruiser's, no, actually Wilbur Snyder's son-in-law trained him. Wilbur Snyder trained Diamond Dan. He used to wrestle, run a promotion in Indianapolis for years. Then there's a guy on option 3 that's D-Rose, and I'm on option number 2. And they asked me to do that about 2 months ago. So you can call the Diamond Dan Pro Wrestling Hotline, 317-335-4688. I'm on option number 2. I update about twice a week. Like, I'll either do it tonight or tomorrow with my highlights of the shows I was at, tell what me and Chris and Tony's got coming up, and then normally Thursday, Friday, I will tell you what shows are happening in Indiana that weekend. So
I'm actually going to check that out because I didn't realize. I'll have to get with you after the show tonight and get that info.
Yeah, that's still
I
pretty
actually like to
new.
check that out. That's pretty cool. That takes me back to the old WWF hotline, the WCW hotline kind of thing. That's cool, man. I dig that, man.
yeah, I did a hotline back in the mid 2000s, and it was the Midwest Wrestling line, the Indie Wrestle line, and I did the same thing what I'm doing now, except I didn't know Tony and Chris. I rambled off what the shows was every week. So, and then they contacted me because they had a spot opened up and said, "Hey, would you like to do this?" I said, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Right on, brother. Well, hey, man, like I said, Superfan himself, thanks for being on, brother. Too sweet. Appreciate you, man. Guys, I'm SWS, Shootin with Shane. This is episode 3, part 2. We've made it official like we did on the part 1. Part 3 will be coming May 27th. I'll sit down in the arena yet again on location with Marcus Fine. Guys, that's just too sweet, man. See, I gotta hire better help. See, everybody wants to come on the show, but everybody wants me to get up now to push the button.
They all ran off.